Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got question Chase, has got the facts, talking NFL numbers, he's got your back. A little chart trend ball, man, he's got it like that. Chasing data by do champions. Chasing data applies to everyone. Chasing data, yeah, we're live today. Chasing data for always. Chasing data by do champions.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chasing Data. We are about 3 minutes behind tonight, but we are finally live. We are almost to the end of these power rankings. We've been doing them for quite some time at this point, and we are making it to the top 5 as of tonight. I think the first one's pretty much hinted as if you look at my background, but if you're not familiar with what I've been doing since the offseason has started, is breaking down every team 32 all the way to 1 in the order that I feel that they should be ranked going into the 2025 season. It's basically my power rankings, but based on stats and analytics. Not as much X's and O's as what the numbers say. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and look at where we're at right now. Well, not that one. There we go. And we are currently, there we go, all the way up to number 7. Who were the Washington Commanders? Last week we did the Broncos and the Commanders. These teams are quite polar opposite, being that the Broncos have a okay offense, can definitely improve, but their defense is probably going to be top 3, whereas the Commanders have a defense, but their offense could be top 3 or even the best in the league, especially on their best of days. So we'll get right into who number 6 is. Like I said, it's already been given away by my background, but it is the Los Angeles Rams. So, with the Rams, last season they were 10-7. Their over-under right now is 9.5. I realize that my power ranking of them being at number 6 is much higher than what probably many others have them, but I feel like on their highest of highs, they definitely deserve to be at number 6. Like I said, 10-7 last year. Their current over-under is 9.5 wins, with plus 2,200 odds to be the champs. That's the 10th best odds according to the sports books. So 10th to 6th, a little bit of difference there. But like I said, I'm very high on them on what they can be. And we'll get into why as we get into this more. But plus 1,100 to win the conference, which is 6th highest odds. So they're just the 6th highest favorites to win the conference. And I want to say that I have them as the 3rd best in the NFC. 3rd best team in the NFC, but the sports books have them as the 6th best, or 6th most likely as far as betting goes. So we'll see about that. But they're plus 195. They're not even favorites to win the NFC West, which was crazy to me. I mean, I assumed that they would be. I know San Francisco had one of the worst seasons as far as adjusted games lost from injury last year, but the Niners are still favored. I mean, the Rams are currently plus 195. I want to say the Niners were plus 150. So it's rather surprising that they're second, in my opinion. Last season, they started 1-4. They didn't finish the season 9-2. We're not going to count that Seattle game because they didn't play anyone. I mean, they didn't play any of their starters, so who cares what happened in that game. Head coach Sean McVay still, ever since he's been there, he's been successful pretty much. Some of his achievements include being the youngest NFL head coach hired in the modern era. He was hired at age 30. He's the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl at age 36, I want to say, yeah. And NFL Coach of the Year in 2017. Franchise wins leader. He achieved that in the past season. Offensive coordinator is Mike LaFleur, offensive coordinator. I mean, he and Sean McVay work very closely together. And Sean McVay is basically, this entire scheme has Sean McVay's handprint all over it. Defense coordinator Chris Shula, who came in last year, and I mean this front four. I mean he could just say, "Oh, look at my front four," and that's good enough for him. Nothing more needs to be said. Let's bring up their depth chart here. So, if you're not familiar with the Ourlads depth charts, the way you read this is that the red are players who are more likely going to start on the PUP list, Alaric Jackson, which we'll discuss momentarily. The yellowish orange are the players that are the free agents that they signed in the offseason. The pinkish magenta color are the ones that they drafted, and the teal are the undrafted free agents. So, their additions in the offseason. Start on the offensive side of the ball. First and foremost, Devontae Adams. They are able to get him on a 2-year, $44 million contract after the Jets cut him. I mean, Aaron Glenn's in there cleaning house. Devontae Adams, at the time of signing, had the 18th highest wide receiver contract as far as average value goes. Last season, he still put up crazy numbers. I mean, his ability to produce on the field is still top tier. 85 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, and that was just in 14 games. He even played a full 17-game season whenever you look at what happened in Las Vegas when they were trying to figure out if they were going to trade him or what. He was 15th in yards. I mean, if they get this production again, which I feel is very possible, this offense, the rich just get richer. They bring in Coleman Shelton, which I believe is quite an underrated addition. He's more likely going to be the starting center for this team, and we know how important it is for Matthew Stafford to be upright at all times in this offense. Also, bring in David Kessenberry, some depth on that offensive line, and DJ Humphries. They re-signed Alaric Jackson, but he was one of the best up-and-coming offensive linemen in the NFL, and they re-signed him to a 3-year, $56 million contract. But his season's kind of in question at this point due to the blood clots. Is he going to be able to play? I'm not really sure. So in comes DJ Humphries, kind of a late offseason signing. They brought him in, and he very likely could be the starting left tackle to open the season in Los Angeles. DJ Humphries is not of the same level or play style or playability as Alaric Jackson. Will definitely be a step down, but they got a good bit of depth on this offensive line. The rest of it is quite solid, and it's very key for Matthew Stafford to be upright at all times. So that's the offensive side of the ball. No one else really of note that they signed in free agency. On the defensive side, they bring in Nate Landman from Atlanta, and they bring in Poona Ford. Poona Ford is such an underrated player. I can't believe they went out and signed another front four player. I mean, they have already, you know all these names. They have Byron Young. They have Jared Verse. They have Kobe Turner. They have Braden Fisk. They had very easily a top 3, if not the best defensive front four in the NFL last year, and they're all like age 25 or younger, which is ridiculous. But they go get Poona Ford, who is worth every penny. Get him on a 3-year, $28 million contract. He had a solid above-average season for his play style. 3 sacks, 39 tackles, 19 QB pressures. But what he's most underrated is in the fact that he is such a run stopper, run plugger in the middle of that front four. I'm guessing he's going to come in here and start. He's going to be – they're going to rotate. It's going to be Fisk, Poona Ford, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Jared Verse. How are they going to manipulate all those on the field at the same time? I'm not really sure, but they kind of went the same route as the Giants, and the Giants, they have quite a few front four players that they can rotate in and out of that defensive line in New York. So with that said, let's see what we got next. That was their additions. They extended Matthew Stafford. There was a moment in time that there was speculation that he could end up in New York as a Giant. They ended up going a different route with Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jackson Dart. So they give him the money that he wants. and probably deserves. I mean, it may have been a little bit of an overpay, but you got to keep your franchise quarterback. Don't reset it yet. They are definitely in the Super Bowl window if things all align correctly. So you definitely don't want to let him leave. Looking at their draft picks, let's bring up their draft here. Trade their first round pick for next year's first. It was some more, but they traded it to the Falcons, who ended up taking another lineman. They took James Pierce, I believe. And a very desperate move by the Falcons. I definitely would take an unprotected first round pick from the Falcons in 2026 every day of the week and keep on. They take Terrence Ferguson in the second round. He was, I mean, he's the all-time leader in receptions, touchdowns at Oregon. Had 134 receptions, 16 touchdowns, had the fastest 40 of all tight ends. When you watch him, he can make defenders miss. He can develop into a better route runner, but I mean, he's still crisp with his cuts as is now. You have him behind Tyler Higbee, might get some two tight end sets in this offense. See a lot of motion in this offense. I feel like he fits perfectly into what Sean McVay wants. We've had the last few years where Tyler Higbee had the injuries. So having Terrence Ferguson as another pass catching threat in this offense for Matthew Stafford is the rich just get richer. In the third round, they take Josiah Stewart, an outside linebacker from Michigan. Had some productivity at Michigan. Is he going to see the field with this front four? We shall see. Fourth round, this was an interesting pick in my thoughts. They take Jarquez Hunter out of Auburn, the running back. And, I mean, when you look, let's bring up the depth chart again. Looking at their depth chart, I mean, we all know they have Kyron Williams. They have Blake Corum, who they drafted last year in the third round. He was solid as a backup. He did have, he broke his forearm, I want to say, late in the season. So they bring in Jarquez Hunter. I mean, I think they're looking for more explosiveness out of the backfield. And Jarquez Hunter could be that player for them because even though Kyron Williams is great and is a bell cow type running back, they were very low when it comes to the number of explosive plays they had in Los Angeles last year. So I think they're looking for that extra piece to give them a little more burst out of the backfield. So they go with him in the fourth round. Let's go back to the draft board here. Fifth round, Ty Hamilton, a defensive lineman. You can see him on the depth chart here. He's going to be buried deep in that depth chart, I'm sure. Fifth round, they get Chris Paul Jr., who I thought would go way, 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 way earlier than that in this draft. I had him going in some mocks in the third round. So for them to be able to get him in the fifth round, when they need a linebacker, I mean, over the past few years, I feel like the Rams have just said, hey, we're bad at the linebacker position, and that's just what we're going to roll with. We know that's our weakness, and we're going to build around it. They get the front four that is quite amazing, to say the least. Secondary's up and coming, but that front four is what covers up some of the linebacker issues. All right, let's see. And then they finish up in the seventh round taking a flyer on a wide receiver in Kanata Muntfield out of Pittsburgh. So subtractions. Let's go back to their depth chart. Looking at their depth chart here, subtractions they had were really on the offensive side of the ball. They lost Cooper Kupp, as we all know. We saw the writing on the wall for a while there. He was aging. He's had the injuries. He did get the Triple Crown. What was that, 2 years ago now? Or this will be 3 now? Got the Triple Crown, receptions, touchdowns, receiving yards. And ever since then, the injury bug's just been on him. That's the only way you can put it. They take the dead cap hit, which was a huge number, and move on from him. Which, I mean, his replacement is probably better if healthy. Devontae Adams, more of an X receiver. He and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua kind of overlapped, I want to say, in their play style. So having Devontae Adams in there as your wide receiver too is quite great for if you're a Rams fan. They also lose to Marcus Robinson, who would have 3 touchdowns in one game and then not have a touchdown for 12 games straight. But I mean, they do like their wide receiver room now is Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams, Tutu Atwell, the speedster, and Jordan Whittington, who came on great later in the season. So I mean, honestly, Kanata Mumpfield could get some play in this offense. The depth is not there necessarily for this offense, so he could get some run. Like I said, on the defensive side of the ball, they didn't really lose anything of note. All right. Strengths of this team. Let's see. Let's just go back. We can leave right here on the depth chart. So some of the strengths for the Los Angeles Rams. The main one for me is having Sean McVay. Sean McVay, just his ability to call plays and orchestrate an offense at the highest level is, I mean, top 3 in the league as far as the offense goes. So it's definitely a strength. Having a Hall of Fame quarterback under center who can be a top 5 quarterback at any given time of the season is a strength. I mean, we know he doesn't scramble. He attempted a scramble rush on just 3 of his 548 dropbacks this past season, which is 0.5%, the lowest scramble rate in the league. I mean, Tom Brady was doing more than this. I mean, he was only sacked on 5% of his dropbacks, though, second lowest rate of his career, and that was in 2021, which was 4.7%. So, I mean, the offensive line kept him up. He didn't really need to scramble because he wasn't getting sacked. He did roll out some. He had 67 design rollouts, second most in the NFL, actually. So I say some, but it was actually a lot. Completing 72% of those passes for over 400 yards and the most touchdowns in the league, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Other strengths on this team is the offensive weaponry. You have Puka Nakua, wide receiver 1 that we've discussed already plenty. I mean, from week 8 on last year, he led all receivers with a target rate of almost 40%. He had the 4th most receiving yards, 3rd most receiving yards over expected, almost 200 over expected, the 4th most first downs with 46. I mean, this guy's just the focal point of this offense. He forces we know how he makes people miss. He forced missed tackles on 1 out of every 4 plays, 1 out of his every 4 touches this season, the 5th highest among all wide receivers. I mean, we think about Cooper Kupp kind of being the same type player, but he only made players miss on 10% of his touches. Devontae Adams, we've talked about already, who is wide receiver 2 on this offense. Kyron Williams, the bell cow. He was drafted like what? Yeah, 5th round. I was about to say 6th round, but I mean, he was a 5th rounder, and he has come in. Was that his rookie season? He came in and started getting some run, and then ever since then, he's just taken over. That was last year. Remember around this time last year, we were getting the reports that Kyron Williams was going to be fielding punts and kickoffs, and that was the craziest thing I'd ever heard, and people believed it. I mean, it was being reported, and he never saw any. Like I said, he's the bell cow running back. He played on 843 snaps last year, the most of any running back in the NFL. And he's played, and since 2023, so the last 2 seasons, he's played on at least 80% or more of the offensive snaps in 20 games, which is 5 more than the next closest running back, which is Saquon. So when he's on the field, he's staying on the field. From week 11 on, he averaged almost 5 yards per carry and had the 5th most rushing yards over expected. So as the season went on, he just improved. Even though he was getting a lot of run, it didn't really affect him. Also having Terrence Ferguson as your tight end 2 behind Tyler Higbee, I mean, they just have an embarrassment of riches on the offensive side of the ball. The offensive line would be a strength if Larry Jackson is able to play. If so, that's definitely going to, I mean, we're going to say that's going to add or subtract a win for them if Larry Jackson is on the field for the entirety of the season, hoping he will be able to play with the blood clots. Their offensive line was great last year. The front 4 is behind Sean McVay, maybe the biggest strength of this team. I mean, they are just ridiculous. All those players could start anywhere in the league. When you look like at Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, who they both drafted last year, Verse had 76 pressures, the second most by any rookie since 2018, who was Nick Bosa. Braden Fisk had a pressure rate of 10.9%, the second highest by a rookie defensive tackle in a season since 2018. They combined for 120 pressures, which is the most by a rookie teammate since 2018, and they beat who was the best, which was Byron Young and Kobe Turner, 110 from the season before. So the last 2 seasons, they've set records for their rookie number of pressures, and all 4 of them are on the field together now. Kobe Turner, like I said, I mean nobody on this front 4 is really a scrub at this point. Weaknesses on this team, the secondary for sure. The secondary issues and linebacker, like we discussed earlier, are covered up by the front 4 being able to get pressure at the level they do. The youth on the back end, I mean, they bring in Emmanuel Forbes. I mean, if he's getting playing time, that shows you how bad this back end of this defense really is doing. They didn't add anyone in the draft. They have some undrafted free agents that they're going to try to get some run out of. I do like Kobe Durant. I do like Quentin Lake. Sorry, I mean you get some highlights out of some of these players, but these are no players that you're writing home about. Their explosive run rate that I mentioned earlier. Another weakness is third downs. They had the 5th fewest yards to go on third downs for the entire season at 6.6 yards to go average on third down. However, they were 24th in conversion rate, 36.8% conversion rate. So we're in the bottom 4th of the league in conversion rate, but in the top 4th in yards remaining to get the first down. And just couldn't do it. So they got to get better on third down. What's the issue there? I don't know, because the offense is great the entirety of the rest of the game. Cap situation. $294 million committed, 7th least in the league. A lot of their cap issues are dead cap. They have $51 million dead cap hit this season. That's the 9th most. I mean, a majority of that is to Cup, Noteboom. They also lost Jonah Jackson, but he wasn't playing. They trade him away. And Aaron Donald. They're still playing. Have a dead cap hit on Aaron Donald. The top contracts that they have to pay this year: Matthew Stafford, Kevin Dotson, Devontae Adams, Rob Havenstein, and Tutu Atwell was actually the 5th highest player. I mean, they don't have a lot on the books outside of Matthew Stafford. It's just they really need to have some of these draft picks hit and the secondary get better. But anyways, they still have $21 million in cap space, which is 20th most. When you look at who's available in free agency still, I mean, this would probably be quite the surprise. But if they were able to sign Asante Samuel Jr., assuming that he's healthy, oh my God, that would do wonders for the secondary. I would love to see that. He just put him in, throw him out there on the island and let it go. All right, looking at their schedule. Let's get to their schedule. Still got another team to go through. They have 49.1% opponent win percentage this year, which is 16th in the league. So right in the middle of strength of schedule. The problem is they travel almost 35,000 miles this year. And that's second only to the Chargers. So they have the second most miles, and they also have an international game, and they will cross an NFL high 44 time zones this season. So not good for the Rams. Week 1, they play the Texans. That's a great opener. This front 4 should eat all throughout this game. If they don't have 6+ sacks, then they lose against that offensive line. So count that as a win. At Tennessee, we don't have to discuss the discrepancy in talent there. At Philadelphia, that's going to be a tough one, a rematch from the divisional round where they lost on that last drive. The Colts, they should beat the Colts for sure, regardless of Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones being the starting quarterback. Week 5, Sunday Night Football against San Francisco. If they want the division, they should win this. Week 6 at Baltimore, that's going to be a tough one to win for sure. Anytime you play against Baltimore in any location. At Jacksonville, international game, they should win it. But international games, you never know what you're going to get. Have the bye after that, which is common after You have an international game. Week 9, New Orleans. New Orleans may be the worst team in the league. Week 10 at San Francisco. Let's just say they split that. Seattle. Let's say they split that one too. They should win both, but say they split it. It's a tough division. Tampa Bay Sunday Night Football in Week 12. That's going to be who can get to 60 points first. Carolina Week 13 should get that one. Arizona, they should beat. Detroit's going to be a tough one. Seattle, we said they're going to split on Thursday Night Football in Week 16. Atlanta, they should win. And say they split against Arizona too. With that there, that I have them going 10-7 right there. 11-6 actually, 11-6 with that schedule prediction that we just quickly ran through. 11-6 is probably around the sixth best record in the NFL by season's end. So what I also do with these teams is, let's go back here, is go look at the sports books and see who has the best odds as far as MVP, all the awards. Basically, let's just go through all the awards. MVP, Stafford is actually 14th in odds at plus 3,500 MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, the best odds were for Puka at plus 2,000. I want to say it was like 8th best odds. If he stays healthy, I mean, it's that just makes that number even better. Defensive Player of the Year, Jared Verse is all the way up to 6th at plus 1,500, just going into his second year, which is crazy. I mean, I know he's good, but my Lord, having the 6th best odds is wild. Terrence Ferguson was their best offensive Rookie of the Year at plus 8,000. I just don't foresee that unless he's just Tyler Higbee's hurt and he's on the field from week 3 on or so. Chris Paul Jr. was their best defensive player as far as defensive player of the year. Possible. He could be on the field. He could be a starter week 1. Plus 10,000 though. Sean McVay plus 2,500 coach of the year. I believe he would have to go around 13-3. 13-4 to get coach of the year. I mean, he's old news. You know the media basically runs these awards, and it's just not going to be in his favor. He's been here too long. Most improved player on this team, the secondary as a whole. Like I said, they got covered up a lot by that front 4, so it's hard to assess them truly, but I would say the secondary, I mean, outside of that, I mean, front 4 doesn't need to. Linebacker, maybe. Drop-off candidates, front 4 as well, because what they did last year was just beyond amazing, and it's going to be hard to replicate that level of play. But I mean, they have the talent for sure. The talent is definitely there. X factors on this team, Alaric Jackson. That's easy. An easy choice for me to choose and say, sorry. X factors for the Los Angeles Rams is simply Alaric Jackson, the left tackle who was up and coming, had a great season last year, and had signed a new contract to stay in Los Angeles. It's now a toss-up as to if he's going to play in 2025. And being that that anchor on the left side of the offensive line for Matthew Stafford, when we know he has to be upright at all times for this offense to thrive, we need him to come back healthy and it not be DJ Humphries. DJ Humphries is a serviceable player, but he is not Alaric Jackson. So the X factor for this team is probably his health and availability. He could cost this team over a whole season 1 to 2 games if he's not able to go by week 1. Outcomes for this team, the highest of highs, Alaric Jackson plays. The offense is top 3 in the league, top 5 at worst. The defense gets average play out of their secondary. The front 4 is top 3 or better. The offense overall, like I said, is probably around top 5 or better. The defense is, let's just say they're average, top 12. If you get that and Matthew Stafford gets on a heater late in the season, you now have a team that we saw last year. They were 1 play away from being in the NFC Championship. And then, I mean, it's a toss-up as to who's winning out of them and the Commanders. So the sky's the limit. Like, I mean, if at season's end, if you tell me, oh, the Rams are Super Bowl champions, I'm going to tell you, oh, well, Matthew Stafford, he heated up late in the season. This front four was unstoppable. The pairing of Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams was also unstoppable for any defensive scheme. That's best case. Worst case scenario, Noah Larry Jackson really hurts this team. Kyron Williams can't continue to be on the field as much as he is. The injury bug just runs through him. I mean, that's with any team, though. I mean, the offense, the floor is probably top 10, honestly. I mean, unless Matthew Stafford starts regressing, I just don't see it dropping off that much. But top 10 is probably the floor. The defense, the secondary worries me. Everything but the front four. If the front four drops to being a top 8 group in the league, the defense may be 20th average overall. And at that point, in a division with the Niners, who have a similar coach in Kyle Shanahan, similar style, and Robert Saleh being back on the defensive side of the ball, we could see the Rams finishing second, if not third, if Arizona starts to improve with what they've done to their front four. That's worst case. But what I expect is I have this team ranked number 6 for a reason. This front four is going to be nearly unstoppable. Matthew Stafford is going to play average or better all games. And then you get those 6 or 7 games where he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I mean, he has Puka Nacua, who he has such a great rapport with at this point going into season 3. He has Devontae Adams, who is just such a smart player, such a physical, gifted athlete all around. He has the weapons. We just got to hope Larry Jackson is there to be on the field. And like I said, I had them going around 11-6, winning the division, obviously. That would put them probably around like a 3 seed or so, which is, I mean, I have them currently ranked as the 3rd best team in the NFC. And once they get in, it's just going to be dependent on how much of a heater Matthew Stafford is on. Because this front four is going to be there. The weapons are going to be there. It's just going to depend on what Matthew Stafford can do as they get in, once they get into the playoffs. So that's team number 6. Yeah, 6. Make sure. Don't want to misspeak here. Team number 6. There's the rankings there, if you want to look at it. I've updated these throughout the offseason, so this is how I feel right now. 30 through 32, you could just throw them all in a bucket and pull one out. Maybe the Giants as well. The Giants are 28, and that's just because of their defense. But before we move on to team number 5, we're going to do a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.